Welcome back, students. So we're on question 2, 2019. A letter is chosen at random. Straight away, I think we're probably doing probability or statistics from the words statistics. Write down the probability that the letter chosen is C. So a reminder, we take all of the events which meet the special condition and we divide it by all of the outcomes. Okay, how many C's are there? So the probability of getting a C, count them, there's only one. The number of outcomes is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1 over 10, that does not require simplification. That's the answer. Okay? And we're moving to T. And in this case, the probability of T, you count the T's. There are 2 of them. There's still 10 letters. And that has to simplify. And generally speaking, you're going to have one that doesn't simplify and one that does simplify. So that can either go on your calculator. Oh, thank you. So I'll just double check my count here. 1, 2, 3. Hats off. Well done. And there's 3 of them there. And actually then that is simpler. Okay, excellent. A group of 120 students were asked how each traveled to school. Some of the results are shown in the table below. Okay, this is called a two-way table, and things tot up on rows, and they also tot up on columns if you make that effort. So the total here, we'll add those in our calculator, and you get 22 and 18 is 40, and 14 is 54. But don't feel you have to strain your mental maths area there. You can use the calculator. Now, in the next one, I'm going to do a subtraction. I'm going to go 66 is the total. And I'm trying to get this number here, so it's the only one unknown, so I can do that using subtraction. Take away the 18 and take away the 23. Okay, and 66 take 20 would be 40. Silly. Let's just use the calculator. 66 minus 18 minus 23. 25. Okay, and that number has to be put in there. Okay, so our 2 numbers are in. We've added them to the table. We're happy with that. A student is chosen at random from the group. What is the probability that the student is a boy who walks to school? Okay, so I understand the question. I'm looking for the number of boys that walk to school, and we highlight that there. We can see that that is 14. So that in terms of the number of events over the number of outcomes, the number of events are 14. There's 14 choices that would meet that condition, and the total number of students, we need to calculate that. Unless they've told us, actually they did tell us it's 120, so that's handy. Now we're not going to just leave the answer like that. We're going to go to our calculator because they're both even, so we know that will reduce. Okay, so we have 14 divided by 120. And now do you see that one? That's because I'm asking the calculator. I've set it to give me a digital answer. So I hit SD to give me the exact answer. Now listen to those 2 phrases. Sorry, I said digital. I meant the decimal answer. But oftentimes the exact answer is better in this case. So I push the SD button. So what are the chances that it's a girl? Well, if we look at the total number of girls now, it's 66. So that's the number of events in this case. 66, and the total remains 120 into the calculator. Clear 66, fraction bar 120. 0.55 SD for the exact value. For the more nicer to write it as a fraction is 11 over 20. By the way, every terminating decimal that doesn't go on forever, it can be written as a fraction. Now travels to school by bus. It doesn't matter if it's a boy or a girl. So we're circling those 2 that were originally given to us. And do you agree what's it called? In aggregate, together, they make up people who went to school by bus. Yeah? So we need to add them. 18 and 23. Or do we? We could just write 18 and 23 on the top of our fraction and let the calculator do everything. Okay, that's cool. And over how many students? There's still 120 students going to school, and that goes in our calculator. Okay, so that was pretty crafty because we didn't take that intermediate, that middle value that isn't the answer. But the risk is if you get that wrong, put it down wrong. But I think I'm careful enough there. I think I'll go for it. Now, here's the thing. I've often put the top and then the fraction bar, that fraction bar. But this time I want to start with the fraction bar because the top of the fraction is complex. It's not just one number. So I'm starting with my fraction bar. And that's a more general way of doing it. And I'm going with 18 and 23 downstairs. Yeah, I was just thinking, have I definitely put in the right number? Is 120 the right bottom? And I think it is. Okay, so 41 over 120. And really in these questions, that's the best answer. You don't have to include that extension. There's a 3 inside in 120, so it's going to go on forever if you go decimal. And you don't want to, because that'll always be an approximation, because you'll be cutting off numbers. That's exactly right. So we're happy with that. Okay. And that was question 2. So as always, I will see you in the next one.